So let's take a look at the 57 kilo weight class at the Tokyo Olympic Games. So same thing like before. I have all the seeded players highlighted in blue with their seed number. The seed number does not reflect where they ended up ending on the world ranking list, okay? So I'm just gonna grab a pen and we're just gonna kind of fill this out. Some of these matches aren't so important. So let's take a look here. Tunisia versus Bulgaria. You know, I don't think it's all that important, but I'm gonna go Bulgaria. Portugal, Hungary. Perfect. Okay, let's just kind of move through here. I'm gonna go Korea. It looks like I'm making this kind of fast, the Korea versus Roper here, but Roper from Germany now fights for Panama. You know, she's also on the older side, so you know, she does have some big wins under her belt, so not to write her off completely, but at the same time, it's one of those things where, you know, age does play a factor. The Korean's going to be coming to, you know, get a medal at the Olympics. I don't necessarily think they're coming in to win it, but they're going to be hungry. Let's take a look here. Believe it or not, the Georgian player, the Tipitiliani, she's actually got some great footwork. So if you've ever seen any of her like foot sweeps in competition, super impressive. Let's move through here just nice and quickly, make some easy choices. I'm gonna go Russia over China, and then let's go Serbia. Let's keep it going on the easy rounds here. Ooh, Filmoser versus the Netherlands. Again, I'm gonna go Netherlands here. And then let's see here. Interestingly enough, I'm gonna go Slovenia. Perfect. Okay. So now we got the easy matches out of the way, or ones that I think are easier to pick. Let's take a look here, right here. I'm gonna look at Pool A and Pool B kind of as a whole for this bracket, just because I have a lot of faith in Klimkait as a player. So I'm gonna get my highlighter out here and I'm just gonna make the commitment to this. I'm just gonna say, you know what? She's going the whole distance all the way into the final. That's just, it is what it is. It's my prediction and I can do that. So we're gonna have Canada all the way through into the final. It doesn't mean that, you know, she can't be upset here along the way. You know, Montero is a solid player. Caracas is a solid player. Stahl is a solid player. Tipitiliani with her footwork, she can upset some people in this, but again, she's shown a lot of consistency, and I think beating out her teammate Taguchi at the World Championships it just shows that she's ready and she's rising as a player, getting over some of the mental hurdles that she's suffered through with some of the other athletes. So I'm just giving it to her all the way through. Let's continue to fill this out though. We have Portugal versus Hungary, a super tough matchup. I'm gonna go Hungary is gonna upset her. And that's just gonna be what I decide. So just stylistically, I think, you know, it's a good matchup for the Hungarian player in my eyes. I have no idea what the results are between these two as far as like statistics, but the Olympic Games throws a wrench in the works for all these athletes, okay? There's just a lot of different things going on, so I'm gonna let it sit there and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna come back and take a look at my predictions and see where I ended up. So let's keep this going. We have Korea versus France. You gotta go seeded player just because they're seeded. You know, they have the edge already. This one's a little bit challenging though. We have Georgia versus Stahl. This could easily be an upset here. But I'm gonna give it to the German. And then this is going to make for a really tough pick because you have 4 versus 5. That could really go either way, but let's go down here. Now, here's another one where I feel just confident throwing it out there that, you know what, we're going to put Yoshida all the way into the final no matter what. It is what it is. And that's just, I just don't think these players with her on her home soil are really going to stand a chance. Not to say that they can't upset her along the way, but I feel like that's a smart decision. And then, yeah, Israel is going to end up playing here. Let's keep it going down here. What do we have? We have Kosovo versus the Netherlands and Taipei versus Slovenia. I'm going to go Kosovo, seeded athlete again. I think the seeds just have that strong presence in the division to be able to get over some of these other players. And then we're going to go Taipei, who trains in France. She's taller than a lot of the girls, so she provides a lot of headaches for these people. So let's just fill this out. Boom, boom. And then we're going to bring the Israeli over. Okay, so what do we got here? I put Canada and Japan in their respective semifinals, all the way into winning these semifinals into the final. And then we have France versus Germany. This is going to be a toss-up. I think France is coming for it, right? They're looking to put a lot of medals on home. So let's go France here. Let's move her over as we're working through this. Boom. Perfect. So now we come down here, and now we have Kosovo versus Taipei. This girl does provide a lot of challenges, but she has a lot of leverage. She's tall, she's long, but I'm going to go like that. Let's just call it. Boom. Perfect. Now we have one last hoorah. And I'm gonna call it right here and now. I'm doing it. This is a tough predicament because Japan always fights better in Japan, in their home crowd. So we're talking about the Olympic Games. We're talking about somebody that just beat a Japanese trained Canadian. Deguchi trains in Japan. And Deguchi beats all of these Japanese players as well. So I'm going to go Canada's going to win a female Olympic gold medal. I'm calling it. Boom. Just like that. I'm even going to come down here and fill that out down here. Canada and then JPN. Perfect. Okay. So then down here in this loser's bracket here, we have Kosovo, and then who do we have losing the other one? We have France. Is that the country code for France? It's not. Let's go ahead and erase that. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. And now let's take a look here. We have the loser of 28, which was Taipei. 27 was Israel. And then we had Germany. And then who lost here? Hungary. So down here, now that you guys can see that I have it filled out, in the losers bracket for the repechage, we have Hungary versus Germany, Israel versus Taipei. The losers of the semis always cross over. So we have Kosovo and France waiting to see who their matchups are going to be. Taking a look at this just right off the rip, we're going to go Hungary. Israel versus Taipei, we're going Israel. Now we're into some tough ones, right? Because, losing that semifinal does wreak havoc, okay? France versus Israel. So if we come back up here to where everybody kind of sat, We have France, who's 4, but Israel's 7. So, they're close on that world ranking list, right? So there's a possible win here for Israel to get into the bronze. And then when we look at Hungary, up here, she's actually unseeded, fighting, I believe, a seeded player from Kosovo. Yeah, the number 3 player from Kosovo. So, she is a talented player. She has won some big matches in the past. But again, looking at the draw, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call it Israel's going to upset France and Kosovo is going to upset Hungary. And that's going to be where we kind of sit as far as, our podium. So we're going to go Kosovo. Ooh, let's erase that. And then now let's go to Israel's going to get a bronze medal here in the 57 kilo weight class. So for that final, so that you guys can see it, we have Canada, Japan, 1 and 2, Kosovo and Israel as the double bronzes. And then the fifths are obviously the people that lost in these other brackets. So that's going to be the female 57 kilo weight class.